Ocean's 8, the new Heist film starring Sandra Bullock, Anne Hathaway, Cate Blanchett, Rhianna, and Helena Bonham. Now, this film is a spin-off from the Ocean's trilogy, directed by Steven Soderbergh, who happens to be a producer on this film as well. And in this film, we see Sandra Bullock play the role of Debbie Ocean. She's the sister of Danny Ocean, legendary con man, played by George Clooney, and who, after being released from prison, she plots an elaborate scheme to rob the Met Gala of a $150 million necklace. Now, this film, let me start with the bad points about this film, and there are a few, but they need to be checked on. This film, beat for beat, follows the 2001 remake that was done by George Clooney and co. And, you know, even from the opening sequence where Sandra Bullock is being released from prison and you hear the voices say, okay, what are you going to do when you get released from prison? Again, direct reference to the Ocean's 11 film. Her reasons for robbing the Met Gala of 150 million, and they find out that it's not just about the money, that she's got an ulterior motive. That, again, is just like Ocean's 11. Even when they come to do the robbery and you see the celebrities in like making cameo appearances, just like the Ocean's 11 film. And even the robbery in itself, as clever as it is, it does get a little bit too complicated in places. And I felt that, you know what, it wasn't as slick as the Ocean's 11 film. And as a film, you watch it and you think, you know what, it doesn't really bring anything new to the Ocean's franchise. Even James Corden, who was brought in as, you know, one of the insurance investigators in this film, as charismatic as he is as a talk show host, I just felt that he was a bit misplaced in this film. And I felt that, you know what, they could have had someone else. But with that being said, let's talk about the good parts about this film. The good parts about this film is that this film is a thoroughly entertaining watch. You know what I mean? It just, everybody has their chance to shine. Sandra Bullock in this film was just totally on point. She was thoroughly charismatic. You know, and this is a girl who's come a very, very long way. Remember, she used to play the girl next door type roles in films like Speed, in Demolition Man. This film, superb. Very charismatic, very funny. There was one particular scene in this film that I just thought was a total class act, where she's being released from prison and she goes into a boutique store, and I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but let's just say that it just made for a great classic sequence in this film. And all the characters in this film, Anne Hathaway, Helena Bonham Carter, Rhianna, they all have their chance to shine. You know, Rhianna was pretty much playing herself in this film, but you know what, for the role and the character that she was playing, it worked a treat. Also, what I love most about this film was the cinematography. This film takes place in New York, and New York is a character in itself, and it is captured beautifully in this film. From the Met Gala to Central Park to other avenues within in New York City, it just worked beautifully. Also, the musical score. The musical score in this film was superb, and again, it harks back to David Holmes, who did the musical score from the previous Ocean's films. It's hip, it's funky, it drives the narrative of the film along, it's very, very classy, and it's very jazz orientated, and it just works. It pretty much makes itself another character within the film, and it helps flow beautifully. Also, but as a whole, the film was just very, very enjoyable. I was thoroughly surprised, and I enjoyed every minute of this film. And again, the robbery aspect of this film was great in this film, but it wasn't as great or as slick as Ocean's 11. And I think when you look at other reviews, you'll see that there's a lot of references to Ocean's 11 and how this film isn't as good as that film. But with that being said, it is enjoyable. If you've got an hour and 40 minutes to spare, watch this film, because I definitely think it will be well worth it. Now, I said a moment ago that Steven Soderbergh was a producer on this film. I found Ocean's 8 in this film to be far more enjoyable than his 2017 release of Lucky Logan. And Ted Griffin, who wrote Ocean's 11 and did Tower Heist, I found this film, Ocean's 8, to be far better than Tower Heist. And you know what? I found this film to be much more enjoyable and a worthy addition to Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13. And that film there is really, really well made. You know, it's not as classy as Steven Soderbergh's version of Ocean's 11, but it does the job. And you know, if the rumours are to be true, I think we can expect an Ocean's 9 in the near future. So I will award Ocean's 8 a 7 out of 10. One I recommend you watch. This is one that's gone in my DVD collection. If you liked what you saw, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, and I shall see you on the next film review. Take care.